Hello, welcome back to, my channel. I'm sorry I've been away for so long. College and everything started to really build up, and then, I let this go for a day or two because I was like, I gotta be doing X, Y, Z, and, it steamrolled, and it steamrolled, and it steamrolled, and I forgot. So anyways, I'm here. Hi. So I wanted to start this, again, and I wanted to start it with actually the verse that I got tattooed on my wrist, which is Acts 10:15. I chose, this verse. It means a lot to me. I got it on my skin forever. And, I thought it was a good place to start, talking again about the Bible to other people. So anyway, Acts 10:15 is, it's in the book of Acts, so it's after Jesus has left, and the apostles are in the middle of trying to figure things out on their own, and all that stuff. So this chapter 10 of Acts is all about the story of Cornelius, who is the first Gentile to become a Christian, because at this time only the Jews were really being baptized and brought into the Christian fold, and then later the Gentiles, starting with Cornelius. But at this time, though, the idea of introducing the Gentiles to the Christian world was really terrifying, because at the time, Gentiles were considered unclean and, not acceptable. Like, if a Jewish person had to hang out with a Gentile for a long period of time, they were then expected to, ceremoniously unclean themselves after hanging out with them. It was a big deal. But anyways, Peter is the one to baptize them, and the reason he does so is because of a vision he gets from God. So, starting chapter 10, verse 9. So about noon the following day, as they were on their journey approaching the city, this is the people of Cornelius coming to get Peter, Peter went up to the roof to pray. He became hungry and wanted something to eat, and while the meal was being prepared, he fell into a trance. He saw heaven being opened and something like a large sheet being let down to earth by its four corners. It contained all kinds of four-footed animals as well as reptiles and birds, and then a voice told him, "Get up, Peter, kill and eat." "Surely not, Lord," Peter replied. "I have never eaten anything impure or unclean." The voice spoke to him a second time. "Do not call anything impure that God has made clean." This happened 3 times, and immediately the sheet was taken back to heaven. So, that was 9 through 16. So that's a vision that Peter got from God to prepare him for the fact that he would have to accept Cornelius. So, the animals that were brought down the sheet, a lot of them were actually ceremoniously unclean, so things that Peter was not allowed to eat by following the Jewish laws. And then, so when he points this out, going, I can't do that. I can't eat anything impure or unclean, God. That's your rule. And God's like, yeah, you can't eat anything unclean, but what if I made it clean? And so, Peter's like, what? And so he keeps saying, he's like, what if I made it clean? Guess what? I made it clean. Don't you try telling me that I can't make that unclean thing clean. I did. Don't fight me. So, this is going on, and, he's trying to say, the same thing about the Gentiles, the Gentiles were considered unclean, so, the Jewish people want to go near it, and God's like, I want the Gentiles in my family, and the Jews would be like, oh, but they're unclean, we can't go near them. He's like, I want the Gentiles in my family, but they're unclean. Well, what if I made them clean? Guess what? Now they're clean. Bring them in. And it's that same sort of, mentality that, we're supposed to have with other people, of oh, but that person sinned and is therefore is dirty. Well, what if God makes them clean every day? We're supposed to die every day, and God's supposed to have us be reborn every day. So, what if they're not clean? Like God said they would be. And we need to remember that, as we're going around, that God has made everybody clean. And, I especially got it, here, and made it so I can read it, because I have it facing me rather than facing outwards, because, I need it as a reminder of, for 2 things. One, I can't be rude, and I can't be judging other people, and I also can't be rude or judging myself. Okay, so, I like reading the AMP version of the Bible. What I was reading was the NIV, because it's easy to read out loud. But when I read to myself, I like reading the AMP. And this is what it says for that one verse, 15. And the voice came to him a second time. What God has cleansed and pronounced clean, do not you defile and profane by regarding and calling common and unhallowed or unclean. So in other words, like, I feel like that really adds on to it, because it's like, God has cleansed you, and God has also cleansed every other human on this earth, and therefore God has pronounced you clean. So you can't defile and profane by regarding and calling common and unhallowed or unclean. So, like, you can't dirty someone else either by your opinion of them, how you act towards them, what you say to them or about them, and you also can't defile them. So you can't do anything to them that would cause them to become unclean. Just like you can't purposely do anything to yourself that would cause you to become unclean. And you can't call somebody, like, you can't insult someone or be rude to somebody or think really crappily about someone, because that would be defiling who they are and the cleanliness that God has made them to be. But that also means that you can't do any of that to yourself. Because, like, you know, I'm a teenager. I mean, I'm no longer a teenager. I'm 22. Holy crap, I'm 22. But, like, I know that when I was a teenager and, like, or, like, I'm still in college, and, like, college is really difficult, and it's often easy to just, like, give in to the low self-esteem of being, like, you know, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I don't know what my future is. I don't know what I'm doing after school. Like, what if I don't get this job? What if I'm a failure? Oh, I guess I'm just a failure. Calling myself a failure would be defiling myself and calling myself unclean. Okay, like, so I can't do that. But I also can't, like, say to my roommate when she's like, oh, I really want to, you know, have this job. I can't be like, you won't get it. Because that would be rude. That would be me defiling her and making her unclean, at least in my mind, which, you know, is just as good as actually doing so in God's book. So, like, I just have that as a constant reminder to, like, be loving to myself and be loving to everyone else, and to make sure I don't say, do, or think anything that would bring down the opinion of them to anyone else. And yeah, so that's what my tattoo is for, and it's really important to me. And anyways, so I would like to do these more often again. Sorry for the long break in between. Hopefully, you know, this becomes regular again. And, you know, have a good time. Love you, praying for you, and, you know, peace be with you. Amen. Bye.